of you. This is Soumya Pranjal, host for today's session. Today's session is about AWS Glue overview and integration with DynamoDB by Rajkumar Jain. About Rajkumar Jain, he works as solutions architect at TCS. He talks about DevOps and AWS architect and quite experience in AWS. He is a AWS community builder and C Sharp Corner MVP. And if you want to know more about him, then you can follow this speaker profile link that is mentioned here, that is available on 5th IR portal. About 5th IR, that stands for 5th Industrial Revolution. We are the initiative by Multi-Cloud for You to help companies and technologists to openly share their learning and get opportunities worldwide through each other's as well as through our partners worldwide. Here you can see how are we growing day by day. So here you can see there are 5 upcoming events in next coming week, and we have already completed 1055 sessions till date, and 355 speakers, that means active speakers with 5th IR portal, and 8373 certification course available with our 5th IR portal. Our relationship with Bata Global, Dell, Brilio, Tiger Analytics, Alibaba Cloud, Data Piper, Philips, Jira, and multiple small and medium companies. We also frequently engage evangelists and engineers from Microsoft and AWS. We are also an Alibaba Cloud Academy partner. So here are few samples of Alibaba Cloud certification. We can help you in building your knowledge, digital presence, and helping you in odd hours when you are looking for jobs through our community. You can get all of this with a single link, that is www.fifthir.com. How to get the certificate? For this, you need to register at event link. Then click on claim certificate and provide all the required information, and then you will be asked for a code. Enter the code which we will share at the end of the session to download the certificate. And for any further issues, you can connect with us at the Multi-Cloud for You, and we have our Telegram channel, that is telegram.im/multicloud for you. Thank you so much. Now over to Rajkumar ji.
So hello friends, myself Rajkumar Jain. I am a AWS community builder and the C Sharp Corner MVP. So today we will start with the like with the AWS Glue we can say the AWS Glue provide you the such kind of facility where you can categorize your data. So that area is called as a catalog, where we can define the crawler, we can define the a database, we can define the tables. So we will see all these in the later in the session. And once it is like the data is available in the catalog, immediately we can search and curable of all those data silos. So this is what the introduction of the AWS Glue. Let's move to the next slide where we can think on the 3D. 3D it means the discover, the develop and the deploy part of your AWS Glue. So in the discover, what we are discovering? We are discovering the data which we are getting from the data source. So automatically it will discover and categorize your data, making it an immediately searchable and curable once it is available in the catalog. And secondly, you don't need to think about the schema because crawler will take care about those. It will capture the semi structure and the structures data in a well format in the schema, and it is automatically, no need to define anything there. And then the second is develop. So in the develop, in the job authorization, what we are doing, we are develop, we can with the help of the AWS Glue Studio UI, we can develop our we can with the help of UI, we have to just drag and drop the source target, and then what kind of automations we are looking for, what kind of rules we want to apply there, when it should be run, when we should schedule for those particular job. All those activity we can define there, and once we have defined and everything is showing as a green, we can see the source code of whatever the configuration we did in the UI. So this is again the beauty of this, because here low code no code concept is there, where we are just doing the UI activity, and the code in the behindly it will create a code for you in the scripted format. Third one, deploy. So the jobs which you have created with the help of UI, you can easily deploy your jobs, because it's again, as I said, like AWS Glue itself is a serverless. So whatever the activities we are doing there with the help of the different components, they are also serverless. So run your jobs on a serverless environment. It is a fully managed. It is a scale out environment. It scale out, it means as per your need, as per your requirement, it will scale out your infra and doing the computation within a given time period. So no any compute resources you need to provision, and you don't need to think about all those. Yeah. So that is what the we need to think like as a, we need to remember this 3D word: the discover, develop and the deploy when we are working on AWS Glue. Now next, so these are those areas where like the AWS will start. So data catalog, where we are discovering and organizing your data in a various databases. In databases is nothing but is just like a logical group of your entity which you have created. It's not like a database which we are using in the SQL Server or in the Oracle in like that. We are just creating the logical group of our entity in the tables which we are defining here in the data catalog. And here we can manage we can organize whatever the data we have in a different way in the like a data warehouse and a data lakes. We can connect all those with our data. We can use our data catalog as a data source, as a target both. Target when we have transform data, and source, sorry, we can use it as a source when we have a transform data, and we can use as a target when we want to put our transform data into data catalog. Then second one is the job authorization, which I have said, like, so in the job authorization, we are just drag and drop the in the UI part. We are defining the connectivity, we are defining the connectors, we are defining the configuration, which is looking for making a connection between the source and target. We can define the in between logic on the basis of that the data will get transformed or the data will get enriched. So those kind of activity we are doing in the job authoring, and then and once it is done, we can see like whatever we did as a in the UI side, we can see the same thing in the scripted format. We can write our own code. It will give the such a facility to write your own code in the Spark or in the Python language. The third component is which can say is a job executions. So it's just like a cron job which we have created, and we are aware about those. So in the jobs, what we did, we are just making a connection between the source and target, and we are scheduling those activity as per the like a scheduler, whatever the time that activity should perform the operation which we have defined there. So these jobs can be a Spark container which will be auto scaling based on the SLA. And there's, as I said, like the glue is a serverless, so you have to pay only whatever the resources you have used. So pay for only those resources which you have consumed during the operation. So now data catalog. So we will see the UI part, but let's discuss some theories thing about here. So data catalog is just nothing but we are discovering and organizing our data in the data sets, and different kind of data sets we have created. So these are the diagram which will which will help us to understand how we are discovering our data and organizing them to use by other sources. So, for example, we can use Amazon Redshift, Amazon S3, Amazon RDS, and there are multiple other sources are available when we are looking into the in the demo. But yeah, initially Glue just provided only five sources. The like out of those five, these three are Amazon RDS, Redshift, Amazon S3, Kinesis, Kinesis host. So these are the like initial sources it was provided, but now in last 2 3 months they have supported multiple databases now. Oracle, SQL, DynamoDB. I was trying to integrate DynamoDB when I used AWS Glue. At that time, DynamoDB was not available as a source, but now DynamoDB is available as a source in the Dropbox. At that time, we have to create in a like a, we can say the jugaad kind of activity we have to do there, and we are creating in some other way. We are trying to create a workaround and use the DynamoDB database to configure it as a source database. So once we have collect the data from all these resources, all these sources, source systems, we transform those data into our Glue data catalog in the database in the table format, and there we use those data or table for as a source database now, because other analytical tools they are using those data which we transform with the help of AWS Glue. They are using those data as a source data because it is now is a knowledgeable source, knowledgeable data which we have transformed, which have been enriched as per our need, and they are investigating and they are doing the analytics activity on those database, and on the basis of that they are making their predictions, they are making their decisions, and so this is how it is working. So in the catalog side, we can see like the database is available. These are the components, we can say: tables, connectors, crawlers, classifiers. Classifier is nothing but like it will classify your data, how like the schema of your data. And then so these are the basic four components. It was there in the initial phase of the AWS Glue, but now I will show you like what they make changes in the last 4 5 months, and then you will see like how they are working on this area, and how they are they are putting their resources to grow in this area, because it is for us as who are using the free tier, it is a bit costly. But for the organization which they are putting their millions of dollar in the licensing cost and the on the tool side, they are using this tool as a on a very uh, we can say the very cost effective and the simple budgeting side. So manage a table or creating a table, it provide us in such a way like we are doing in our relational databases. But here we no need to define the schema, because it will by default it will capture. Or if you want to transform in your requirement is and as per your requirement, then you can configure it. That it gives both a kind of facility there. So through the manage table metadata through a web interface, so it is showing like how we are making a connection between these tables. We can use the Hive Metastore API, we can use the Hive SQL, we can automate these activity through a crawlers, because crawlers give you those facility where you will define the path, you will define the connectors, and on the basis of that you are selecting your target, and then configure it accordingly, and just run those crawler jobs and schedule it. So once the data is available in your catalog, in your tables, then you can search it, you can classify those and identify the details. Even you can versioning of those tables like this. So classifications where you will define what kind of data it is. So initially it was just supporting the JSON and the CSV, XML, but now it is supporting some Spark and some big data extensions also. So this is what the catalog is. Now the we can say the magic part, or we can say the very useful or the fruitful components of this catalog is the crawlers, because crawlers crawling all the data from the source system without knowing their schemas. It is automatically discover your data schema, and it will put into the data catalog. So this is what it is like. Run crawlers on demand on a scheduler to discover new data and the schema changes. And serverless, because it is as I said, it's serverless is only pay when the crawlers is running, otherwise we need to pay. Now automatic schema interface, it is the best part of this crawler, because it will automatically detect the file type, it will automatically extract the schema from the data and identify the partitions. And you can also add your own classifiers. Okay, next. So this is how the crawler classifiers are working. So as I said, like initially it was giving only two kind of connections, but now the connection type is also increased. So initially it was the connector was providing, the custom connector was providing for the JDBC and the object connection, but now we have a multiple connectors there. Connections are there, and the custom connector also we can create. So glue crawler, with the help of this JDBC connection, we can connect with the RDS databases, because in the RDS database we have a Postgres, Maria, Oracle, SQL Server, this kind of database which we can connect through a JDBC connection. Object database connector we are using to connect with the Amazon S3, because because it is a very cheapest source system for saving to save your data in the S3, because it's a very cheap. So we are using the object connector on in that case. Once we are we did it, so you can see the other built-in classifier which is category wise. So Amazon RDS have these four, but it's not only these four. We have Oracle and SQL also in the Amazon RDS. Another the data warehouse where like we have a Redshift and Redis also, like people are using the Redis also, but it's a third party one. It's not here. Then data lake side we use the Amazon S3, but in the Amazon S3 also we have a multiple other ways like Avro, Parquet, ORC, JSON and JSON logs. we got from the different systems like Apache, Linux, Ruby, Redis, any other source system like this. We can delimit it with the help of the comma pipe, because we have a CSV. If we have a CSV files, then we can delimit it by these values. And compressed format also it's supported, where we have a zip, bzip, or ggzip, or different compressed formats which are available. It is also supported those classifiers. Job authoring. So in initially we discussed about the job authoring, where I said like it will give you such a facility where you are, with the help of UI, you are just drag and drop the components, the source system targets, the logic which you are creating on the basis of that source system, transform the data to the target database. So all these activity you are doing with the job authoring, and it will by default generate a script when you save that. So once it is saved, you will get the script also. And if you want to create from the script, then no need to go for the UI. You just go to the script and start writing your code there. And once your code is finished, then you will see the UI, where you will see the complete like setup the from the source system, the transformation in the target one. So we will see in the demo. This is the ETL structure, how the ETL is working. So for example, like in a banking system, every day we got a file from the when the business will start, and in the second file we will get in the end of the business. Both the file we are aware like this file, at that moment we are getting the files from the source system. So we have decided the timing. Once the files are available in the uh, source system, whatever it is, maybe the Amazon S3, or maybe your Redshift, or maybe it's your database side. Once we got the file there, we start the transformation. We transform on the basis of our logic, on the basis of the scripts which we have created, and transform and filter those data and put it into any target one. Is Again, we can choose the target data table as Amazon S3. We can choose the target table as our catalog. We can choose the target table as our other databases. So we can transform those data and put into the target data tables. So pick sources and targets from the data catalog. Glue generates the transformation graph and Python code. Specify trigger conditions and execute the job. So specify trigger condition means you just specify when it should get triggered. Either the arrival of the file, or either it's a particular timing when it should be triggered, and then execute the job. And this is how it is. It will work, and it will generate the code for you if you want to see like what code it generated while you are creating the workflow for this process. So as I said initially, the best part of this glue, it will capture the semi-structure in the relational database, and it is a flattened semi-structure object with the arbitrary complexity into relational tables on the fly. You have not need to define anything. So database admin or database guy aware about this kind of pain, where they have to define multiple data types, the names, and blah blah blah. So they know the pain of this activity, and now this pain is completely removed with the help of this. Now it will help you to create a pivot array and other collection types of into separate table, generate a key, foreign key kind of values if you want, but you have to define, you have to configure in that way, then it will do. Then you can modify your mapping as per the source schema changes and modify the target schema as needed. And that's how it it have a that level of flexibility in the glue, in the data catalog side, where we can it can easily adopt to the transformations of your data. So this is how it will show you once like you saved your job. It will show the script in this way. where, like as I said, like you have just defined the source and target location, whatever the transformation logics are there. Once you will did this all this activity in the here in the workflow side, and the parallelly you can see the script. But script will appear once you saved it. So script is a human readable code run on a scalable platform like PyStar. Forgiving in the effect of failures, handles bad data and crashes. Flexible, as I said, like they handle the complex semi-structured data and adopt the source schema changes easily. Okay. So here it is again give you some such kind of flexibility to add your custom modules. You can add your files. So in the custom modules, if you have created the um, Java code for the data transformations, so you can use it. You can drag and drop, or we can say that you can just define your jar files path. You can define your Python library details here if your modules are Python related. If you have other kind of such a configurations, you can define here, and it will take it and it will use it as a module, and transform your data accordingly. Now orchestration in the resource management. So as I said, like it's a fully managed and serverless job executions are there. So orchestrations, these are kind of like word is very heavy, where they are managing the multiple resources as per the requirement. So orchestrations come there. So they are managing multiple things here, and we are not much aware, because in the backend side they are managing the your infrastructure, they are managing your scripts, they are managing your use use data. But in the at front we see only the transformations activity in the flow and the workflow kind of diagram in the data. So in the serverless job execution, we no need to provision the configure or the manages the servers, because lots of servers required when you're doing the activity for the use or the terabyte, or we can say the petabytes of data. The one another things here, which is the warm pool of instances. So if you guys are aware, in the reinvent also, for the lambda functions, the lambda function which are created in the Java, they have introduced one new facility for the snap start. That is again the warm pool. How and why? So in the snap start, in the lambda side, the snap start will help you to warm up your instances. And when you are executing your lambda functions, no need to initiate it from the scratch, because in the Java libraries there are lots of dependencies in the libraries are need to initiate first, and after that your few line of code is executed. So this is just for the example. So here the warm pool help you to pre-configure fleets of the instances to reduce the job startup time. And when I say like the reduce the job startup time, it will save your money also, because if it is not there, so if your job startup time is around a 5 or 10 seconds or a 30 seconds or 1 minute, then it you have to pay for that amount, that time period, right? Because it is initiated, and then after that your job will execute. So first it will consume your time around whatever the time it will take for the initiation, and second one, the processing time, whatever the data you have to process it. So that it is reduced, and we can say that it's completely cut off that particular time and the money both. So that's again a best part of this, the warm pools, which is already pre-configured in the reduce your job startup time. Second one, it's auto configure your VPC on in your role based access for the job executions. Because when you are configuring it, it will ask you like if you already have a that particular role, or not, then it will create for you, and it know what kind of resources what kind of access is required to executing those resources. And other one is the automatically scale the resources to meet SLA and cost objective. And last not the least, is like the best part. Everyone is looking for that. Pay as your consume resources only. It not charge you the extra. Only those resources which you have consumed. And as compared to set up your own data center, set up your own server, and managing all those activity, it is a very less cost as compared to them. Now another things like here, when you're configuring your job, it may be in a particular reason, but you can compose your job in the globally while it is created in a particular reason only. So we can use these easy to use and leverage the work across the organizational boundaries. This is what they are saying, trying to say here. So for example, like you're at company working in a, like in a different geography, and you want to collect the data from there. So the job which you have created for this particular reason, the same job you can use there, and you can get the data from there, and you can store into S3, and S3 is the global one, correct? Okay, now trigger the mechanism. So schedule based mechanisms are there on in which you can decide the time of day. Event based, where you can see when the data is available, when your files are available, the job should computer should execute. And other external resources like for the AWS Lambda, and we can also define some other triggers also. On the basis of those triggers, we can execute our job. So for the developer point of view, what kind of like facility it's provide? So it's provide the as I said, like it's provide literally a developed code, developed script which you can test. It will develop your script, and you can use those script for other environment or other area also, because the script is written in the like it's completely depend you, like you want to generate this in the Python or other native ones, then it will help you to generate it. So develop your script in a notebook and point it on a glue endpoint to test it. That is also available. You can develop your script in your own notebook in the PyCharm, and then you can just point out that to the AWS Glue, and it will test it. When you are satisfied with your results of your development process, then you can create a ETL job, and that runs your script. That's it. So that's very easy to use it. So development notebook, like in the diagram, is also like showing the same things. So okay, let's move to the next slide. ETL security model. So till now we are discussing about like development, executions, database, infrastructures. But yes, the like very essential part of this, which is a security one. So ETL jobs that do not require any special handling can be launched without additional configuration. For jobs requiring restricted access to the data glue, utilize a VPC endpoint. So launching the dedicated ENIs into customer VPCs, which are assigned to the private IP addresses from the customer subnet. So that is also handled by the VPC and the subnets. So not think on much area because in their side, because it will be pre-configured, or not, then we can configure it later on. And our like solution architect and the architects will help us to use these resources. And for such a jobs, Glue also reinforces the use of the S3 VPC endpoint. And I will show you this example in the example, because it will ask you to use this one, because if you are using the other targets and other sources, then it may be some it will may create some problems. So what Glue suggests us, so whatever you have in the source side, please dump into the S3 one. Glue will read from the S3 endpoint. And if you want to store into some other target, or if you want to store in the S3 again, then it will help you. But it will ask you to dump your whatever the data you have in the different source systems, dump into the S3 one in any format, CSV, JSON, XML, blah blah blah. So you can put those file into your S3 bucket, and it will get the data from there. So now we will discuss, now till now so far we discuss about the all the essential part of this. But yes, now we need to discuss about the costing of it. So I will show you again in the demo side, but yeah, here also I can show. As I said, like it's completely serverless one. So whatever you will use, you have to pay only those one. But it again have a cost. So you have to pay only when the time of execution of your ETL jobs. There are no resources to manage and no upfront cost you have to pay, and you are not charged for the startup or the shutdown time. The warm pools, if it is taking 30 seconds, 50 seconds, you no need to take care, think about it, because it will not charge you. It will only charge when the ETL jobs are running. That's it. You are charged hourly basis, and I will show you, like it's a bit costly for us as a like doing some kind of testing or the demo. But when organizations are using it, it will not looking that much costly. But for us, yeah, when we are creating such kind of demo, it will be costly for us. So it will charge you $0.44 per hour on the basis of your uses. So single data processing unit provides 4 vCPU and 16 GB of memory and corresponding networking capabilities. And for that, it will charge you the $0.44 per hour and reason basis. What reason it is available. So on those particular reasons, it will charge you, because I think few of the reasons it is not available till now. So you are billed per hour in the increment of the 1 minute and rounded up to the nearest minute with the 10-minute minimum duration of each job. So you have to pay at least minimum 10-minute duration amount. Data catalog and the crawlers pricing. So for the data catalogs, for the free tier, it is a free till 1000 object over a million. So you can store up to 1 million objects per month for free. If you store more than the million objects, you will be charged per 1 million objects over a million. So whatever the we can say the objects you have stored more than a million, then it will charge you accordingly. An object is a stable, so a partition or a database. So how many databases you are using, how many partitions you have used in the data catalog, it will charge you accordingly. But again, there are some limitations for the free tier. We can use it for that. The first million access requests for per month to the AWS Glue data catalog are free. So you can see here, like the data catalog is moreover free for us. And if you are exceeding this limit, so I don't think for the practical purpose or for the demo purpose, we will exceed those limit. So for us, we can use the data catalog without fear, without like we with the free mind we can use it. So you will only charge per million requests over a first million. Now crawlers. Let's come to the crawlers one. So you will pay an hourly rate for the crawler runtime to populate the Glue data catalog based on the number of data processing units used to run your crawler. Here the crawler is costly because the job of crawler is very crucial here. It will detect your schema, it will go to the source system, and it will fetch whatever data is are available. It will fetch all the data in a one go, and it will restore it. So that's why it's a charging, and it's a chargeable resource. But like a data catalog, it's just like a database. It's just like a table, so it is not that much charge. A single data processing unit is again like a ETL one, so we have to just pay for that. You are a build in an increment of 1 minute. Here is the timing is reduced, so every 1 minute you have to pay. rounded up the nearest minute. While in the ETL, we like 10 minutes was the incremental bill and rounded up with the nearest one. So minimum 10 minutes we have to pay there. So use of the crawler is an optional one, yes, because instead of crawler we can use the ETL job, and uh, you can populate the glue data catalog directly through the API also. So crawler is not required in that case. So let's move to the hands-on side. So let me share my AWS account. Okay, I hope it is visible, guys. So in the AWS Glue, you can see here the data catalog, data integration in ETL. It is still giving the legacy pages which was there in the like 5 to 6 months before. And in my screenshot, if you can see, only database and table was there, and crawler and classifier was there. But now they have added the stream schema registry and the schema and the upgraded version of these all. So now databases are in the new format, the crawlers is the new format, connection is in the new format. While in the legacy, it was not like this. It was in the only database, tables, crawler, and classifier. That's it. Okay. So let's go to the database first. So here, when you are creating the database, no need to define anything. You have to just go and add the database name, paste database, because everything is optional now. You just click on it. Okay, so here you have to just think whenever you are writing, it's not taking upper cases. So you have to write everything in the lowercase. Now your database is created. Because it's just like as I said, it's just like a logical group of your tables. Inside this, you will create a tables. So once you are going and creating the tables, so you can see when I create a table, I will choose where it should belong, in which logical group it should be. Correct. So table again, you don't need to like much think about the table here also. So just give the table name, paste db. Database, you have to choose which one you want to choose and where you want to store these data. Select the source, select the type of source, and the location is specified. You can, okay, so you can also get the data from here. If you want, you will just go, choose the S3 bucket and select the data from there. And you can define the data format also. So in the classification, initially only JSON, XML, CSV was there, but now they have added the Avro, ORC, and Perquet. Next. Now define or upload the schema. If you are aware about your schema, then you have to just define it, or you can choose it from your schema registry. So this is now they have shared in the new, because it was not there in the previous one. So you have to just choose the schema from the registry, or otherwise you can define the manual one. But right now I'm not using anyone. I'm just going to the next one, and now you can see it will create my table. So here did not define any schema for this table, because when I crawl it, it will by default created, and it will create the schema for that as per the data. So now we are now, so far we are aware about the database, we are aware about the tables. Let's go to the crawlers. Okay, before doing this activity, let me go back to the AWS Glue. Here I will just show you the cost. So you can see the cost, the job cost, 0.44 dollar per TPU hour for the crawler also, and for the development endpoints. For the catalog, as I said, it is not charge you till the 1 million. but after that it will charge you $1 per month. So 1 million objects are free, and then it will charge you for $1 per month. Catalog request also, initial 1 million request is free, and then it will charge you. So here I will just show you how to create a crawler, because now, like after the November month, they have restricted this service for the free tier. And if you want to use, then you have to make a request, you have to raise a ticket, support ticket for them for that, and after that they will activate it. So right now my service is not working, it is not allowing me to create a crawler, but yes, I can show you how to create a crawlers. And with the help of that you can create a crawler, and then I will show you how it will restrict you. So let's start the test crawler. Let's define the name. Next, here, if your data is already mapped and you are aware about the data, then yes. Otherwise, not yet. So select one or more data from the source to be called. So right now I'm not defining, because as I said, you no need to define your, like, what kind of data you have. It will by default it will capture. Next. So here, data source we have to define, means where it will read from the data of. So here you can see, initially, as I said, only S3 JDBC and the few of the data source was available, but now they are giving the DynamoDB also. In the DynamoDB table, you can define, like, you have to define the table name also. So it's a users. Sorry. Yeah. So users. Then here it is optional, like what kind of scanning rate you want. So you can define it, but it should be either in between 0.2 to 1.5. But I'm not using it right now, because my data is not that much, that level of, like, it's not a huge one. Enabling the data sampling. So if you are using a huge data, then you can click it. So what it will do, it will just taking a sample data, maybe of 10 or 50 records for the for testing purpose. Then after that you can define it. So I'm not choosing anyone, I'm just going to add the dynamos db as a source. Now next, and here I will tell you a few more things, but let me complete this one. So here you can choose the role. If you are not choosing the role, you can click on the create new one. So it will create a new role, like whatever the requirement of these crawlers. So it will create a new role for you. But I already have a new role, I have already created a one role, so I'm selecting it. Security configuration, it is not a mandatory one right now, so I'm just keeping it as a blank and going to the next one. Now, so we have created the crawler, we have set up the crawler properties, we choose the data source, we have configured the security setting as per like the access security and the VPC configuration, but which we are not set up. The last one, where this data should go. So here we are choosing the data from the catalog. So because it will go to the catalog after the transformation. So I'm choosing the table database here. Table is not required because only one table is there right now. Table prefix, it is again not required. So let me go. Here you can see the crawler schedule. So the frequency is on demand, hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, and custom. But right now I'm putting it as on demand. So whenever we required, we will run it. So now you can review. So I have a crawler properties, I have a data source, I have a configuration setting, and I have a target also. Now when I click on the create crawler, it will give me exception, and that exception is it is not allowing me to access, because as I said, now it's a costly service. They are not allowing everyone to use it without their permissions. and these restrictions is just occur after the either October or November month. And you can see lots of blogs and lots of uh, social platform, the technical platform where they have asking like why they are not allowing us, and there is no solution for it. You have to just create a one support ticket, and on the basis of those support ticket, they are allowing you, and you have to give the justification also why you want to use this service. So this is what it is. Okay. So till now we covered the data catalog part, and our this part is completely perfect. Once we have a permission, we can create it, because there is a no issue in the crawler. It is only the permissions issue. You can see here only account is not allowing you. Okay. Now go to the so as I said, like crawler is not required to create. We can create a job also. So here I'm going to the ETL, data integration in ETL side. So here I will show you. So you can see the Amazon S3 I'm using as a source, and Amazon S3 I'm choosing as a target, or we can say the destination. Right now I'm choosing this, and I'm using the visual with the source and target. So when I click on create, you can see the workflow here. Once I will save it, I can show you the script also. But you can see the script in right now, nothing is there. So we are not, I'm not using it. So let's configure it first. So in my like current lecture, I explain you. It will ask you first of all, you should dump the data. When I instead of S3, if I choose the DynamoDB, it will ask me to dump the data into the S3 location. So right now you can see source type, either the data catalog. So data catalog also could be a source. So right now I'm not choosing, I'm just choosing the S3 location where one of my file is there. So I'm going here, I'm selecting one file from here. So this is my source. If I know, I'm aware about the format, then I will is define the data format also. Okay. Then, so you can see here, once everything is fine here, it is showing me the green. Now go to the apply mapping. Right now I have no rules. uh, in apply mapping, for example, your source key is xyz and you want to map it is with the abc, then you can define it here. You can define the data type also, and if you want to drop it, you can define that also here. So that kind of mapping you can define to to enrich your data. But now let me go to the target one. In the target again, so what I define in the source, my source I've defined is a JSON format, right? So it by default it choose here. I if I want to compression, then I can use it. Otherwise, I can keep it as a none. But now I have to define where this data should go once the job is run. So I will go and choose the target also. So I can choose the target as a destination file, and sorry, going back, I'm choosing it as a target and choose. So my folder is there, and once I will save it. So here you can see, do not update the data catalog. Create a table in the catalog if it is not available. Create a table in the data catalog and subsequent runs. And if you want, you can add the partition key. So now you can see my all these three details are there, and all three are showing is a green, right? So my source is green. My formula, the transformation formula which I applied is also green. So now I can save it. But before save, I need to give a name. So you can see when I click on the save, it will give me the one exception here. Exception, the viewing the exception is completely different here. You can see in that way. So here, my job name is test job. role I already created, so I choose the role here, and then you can see the language on which it will create a script. So I'm choosing the Python. I can choose the Scala also. Here, like the multiple glue versions are available. You can choose accordingly. So right now default one is a glue 3.0. Worker type by default it is there. So it is a very like cheap one. So we for CPU and 16 GB RAM by default it's give, but you can choose accordingly if you want. If you want to compute on a higher level automatically scale, so you have to click on this when you want to create a multiple worker nodes at the time of computation of your data. Release the number of workers, you can define the limit how many workers should be created, and then once it is done then you have to give define the type name also. So this once it is done then you can save. So you can see again here I'm again have a access denied because it is again the cost is there, but now my script is generated. So you can see the script here as told you. You can copy this script and you can use it here in your notebook, in the Python notebook. You can copy and use this one and give the glue endpoints defined there. And this is what it is. So now we have seen the glue. We can see the data integration ATL part also. Now triggers, as I said, like you can define the triggers, and in the triggers you can choose what kind of trigger should be there. So on demand, schedule, crawler, and once you have defined it, choose the jobs or callers, and then it will trigger accordingly. Then workflow we have seen there. So you can define the ETL workflow. So in my slide I have defined one. I show you one workflow here, this one. So in this way you can define the workflow there, and on the basis of that it will again help you to understand. So let me try, but right now like time is limited, so I am just skipping it here. In the later session I will cover. And this is what like the AWS Glue is. So one is the data catalog, second one is the ETL one, and inside that there are multiple components which we discussed today. It is also allow you to go on the legacy environment. So if you want to use the previous one, so you can go and select it, and you can go like as per your experience. If you are aware, then you can go and choose the legacy one. But now all the latest and new services are components are available with the AWS Glue. So that's it from my end, guys. Thank you. Thanks for allowing me to give us such a wonderful session here. Thank you so much, everyone. And thanks to MultiCloud also to give me such an opportunity to demonstrate my knowledge with you guys. Over to you, Umya.
Okay, thanks Rajkumar for the wonderful session, and thanks all the participants. You can use the code that is 1PGW3J. I repeat, 1PGW3J to download the certificate. I have already shared this in the chat. You will get the certificate after 3-4 working days once we upload the recording for this session. And I hope the session was very informative. Thanks again for the joining, and thanks again, Rajkumar, for the very informative session. And have a good weekend, all. Thank you so much.